friends. My name is Clifford Chukwemeka Iwanya, and I'm bringing you greetings from the great city of Houston on this 27th day of May 2020. May 27, 2020. And today is the 53 years after the death of the Nigerian Federation. Yes, you heard me right. It was 53 years today, precisely on the 27th of May 1967, that the Federation of Nigeria was killed and finally buried. You can ask me how. Yes, because of this document called Decree Number 14 that was promulgated by the military headed by a man called Yakubu Gowon. Yakubu Gowon promulgated and signed off Decree Number 14, which eventually killed and terminated the Federation of Nigeria 53 years ago. And coincidentally, it is the day I'm making my final video, and the second part of the two-part video that was planned making. I already did the first one, which was on the topic, why the Constitution? And today, we are going to talk about why constitutional force majeure. Before I do that, I would like to read from what I gleaned from the internet. What is force majeure? I'm going to read direct so that it doesn't look like I'm making up my own words. Force majeure is a legal term denoting an unforeseen, disruptive event that obstructs the fulfillment of an agreement or a contract. Let me repeat that. It says that force majeure is a legal term denoting an unforeseen or disruptive event that obstructs the fulfillment of an agreement or a contract. And if you recall, Dr. Amos Akimba, Professor Akin Oyebode, Chief John Nyamodo, Mark Olise, Professor Senator Adeyeye, and a host of others, they have all said that the Constitution is a social contract. So there is that element of contract in it. But let me go ahead and read more of what I gleaned from the internet. It says that a force majeure essentially frees both parties from liability or obligation. So if you have two parties or multiple parties, one there is a force majeure, it frees them from any obligation. The importance of force majeure in a contract, remember that the Constitution is a social contract. The importance of a force majeure in a contract is that it relieves a party from an obligation under the contract, or it suspends that obligation. In other words, once there is a force majeure, then there is no obligation on either the two parties or one party to meet up with the terms of that contract. And we also are aware that a constitution, like I said earlier, is a social contract. And so now, the question now is, why are we talking about constitutional force majeure? I have a couple of reasons here, especially with respect to the constitution we're talking about, which is the fraudulent 1999 constitution that was written by a gentleman called, I don't know if he's gentle anyway, but by a man called General Abdul Salami Abubakar. First of all, in my previous video, the video I made before this, I made everybody to understand that a constitution has two parts, and it has two steps, and they must be followed in those two steps. The first step is that there must be an agreement to form a union. And the second step is that those who agree to form a union will now agree to give and to enact to themselves that constitution. Now, with respect to the 1999 fraudulent constitution, the people of Nigeria never agreed to form a union. I am saying, because it is very important that people understand my premise. I said with respect to the 1999 Constitution. Of course, we had the 1963 Constitution, and I'm going to come to that. But with respect to the 1999 Constitution, the people of Nigeria never ever agreed to any union. Now, the second part, it says we the people agreed to give, enact, and make unto ourselves this constitution. That is not true, because when you say we the people, it means we the people of Igbo, we the people of Ijo, we the people of Nupe, we the people of Urobo, we the people of Isoko, we the people of Anan, Epik, Ishekiri, Okwe, and so on and so forth, that we agreed to give ourselves this constitution. That is a lie from the pit of hell. So first of all, we never agreed to form a union. Secondly, we never at any point in time discussed and agreed to give ourselves those terms in the constitution. Then number three is also a constitution gets legitimacy when that constitution is put in place by a referendum. Every constitution in this world is brought into legitimacy via a referendum. There has to be a referendum. There was no referendum for the 1999 Constitution for it to be legitimate. Therefore, it is an illegitimate and fraudulent constitution. Number four is that inside the constitution, in that constitution, it has 36 states and 774 local governments. We were never consulted. I just talked about what happened 53 years ago on the 27th of May 1967 when Yakubu Gowon unilaterally, together with his northern military officers, created 12 states. Meanwhile, when an agreement was reached at Lancaster in 1959 for us to form a union called Nigeria, it was agreed that there shall be 3 regions as at that time. Later in 1963, there was a plebiscite, a referendum that created the Midwestern region. And so, unilaterally, the military created 12 states. As if that wasn't enough, Murtala Mohammed added 7 to make it 19 before he was assassinated. And then Babangida increased it. And Abacha also added on top. All of them military soldiers, military officers from the northern part, not just the northern, the Fulani part of Nigeria. And with that, they had 774 local government areas. We were never consulted. We never discussed it. It wasn't agreed. And they even gerrymandered it in such a way that a majority of those states are located in the northern part, including the local government. So that is number 4 reason. Number 5 is that the Constitution has skewed the process of revenue generation and allocation. The only constitution that was validly made, the 1963 Constitution, if you go to section 140 of the 1963 Constitution, you find out that the regions that produce the resources or that generated this money take 50%, and then 30% out of the remaining 50% goes into what is called a pool, an account pool. It goes into what is called a pool, and it is from there that the money is shared according to certain ratio among the 4 regions. That is the northern region, the south, the western region, the midwestern region, and the eastern region. That is section 140 and section 141 in chapter 9 of 1963 Constitution. Now, what do we have? In the fraudulent 1999 Constitution, in section 162, subsections 1 and 2, they share the money, all the money generated in Nigeria is put into what is called a federation account. And when that money is about to be distributed, it is distributed not according to where the money was generated, where the revenue was generated, but rather it's shared according to the size of the state, the population of the state, and the number of local government area in that state. Section 162, subsections 1 and 2, which is an anathema. So it is a ground for constitutional force majeure. The other thing we want to talk about is that, we are no longer living according to the agreement that was reached at the Lancaster House. Nigeria, as at the time the founding fathers were going for independence, agreed that the country should be a secular state. And now it is no longer so, which is a deviation from the agreement that was reached to be a union. It is a complete and total deviation, and therefore it calls for a constitutional force majeure, because it is a disruptive event that is not in any way in tandem with what was reached. The 1963 Constitution did not in any way have anything about secularity even mentioned there. Unlike the 1999 fraudulent Constitution that says in Section 10 that Nigeria shall be a secular state. There is even nothing like that in 1963 Constitution. Yet, there is no exclusive section for Sharia system. As a matter of fact, for those who do not know, in Section 119 of 1963 Constitution, that is the only place you find Sharia court. Sharia is mentioned or was mentioned only 11 times. 11 times in the 1963 Constitution. And it is only in Section 119. That is it. That is Chapter 8 of the 1963 Constitution. Whereas in 1999 fraudulent and illegitimate Constitution, Sharia was mentioned 73 times. 73 times. And not just that. The 1999 Constitution devoted 5 sections, 5 solid sections for Sharia and Islam. Section 260, Section 261, 262, 263, and 264 are all exclusively for Sharia and Islam. As a matter of fact, when you take the word count, I noted it down. Sharia was mentioned, like I said, 73 times. Islam was mentioned 28 times. Grand Qadi was mentioned 54 times. And Muslim was mentioned 10 times. There is no other religion that was, whether it's Christianity or whatever, nothing was mentioned about them. Therefore, we have moved away from the secular nation that was agreed to at the Lancaster House. So it is a ground for constitutional force majeure. The other thing I want to talk about is the issue of the things that have happened that has led this country called Nigeria to that point where it becomes an extraordinary event, a very disruptive event that calls for a constitutional force majeure. Let me give you 4 examples. Example number 1. If you go to Section 10 of the fraudulent 1999 Constitution, it says that Nigeria shall be a secular state, that there shall be no state religion either at the federal or at the state level. But now as we speak, even as far back as the year 2000, 12 states in the north imposed Sharia. So there's a Sharia imposition. That's number 1. Number 2, Nigeria is a ranking member, not just ordinary, a ranking member of the Organization of Islamic Countries. I always say this, forget about they put conference, no. They just use conference as a camouflage. They call it Organization of Islamic Conference. That's a camouflage. The true meaning is Organization of Islamic Countries. Nigeria is a ranking member of Organization of Islamic Countries, which negates even their fraudulent constitution that says that there should be no state religion. So why is Nigeria officially a ranking member of Organization of Islamic Countries? Number 3, Nigerian constitution has hijacked our sovereignties and our autonomy. For instance, in Section 79 of 1963 Constitution, it gives the power to the regions to own, to regulate, to develop, to own, regulate, and distribute electricity. That is not the case. Instead, the whole thing was put in Section 4, Subsection 2 of 1999 Constitution and transposed it and explained it in Schedule 2, Part 1. So our sovereignty, our autonomy, and that independence to operate our infrastructure has been taken away from us. I don't even want to go to the one of oil and gas. As a matter of fact, the 1999 Constitution strips us of our right to operate our resources. So it is a very strong ground for constitutional force majeure. And also the same thing goes with the exclusive list. As a matter of fact, do you know that the 1963 Constitution puts arms and ammunition under the state control? The states have the power over arms and ammunition. I mean, not the states, rather, the regions. Whereas in the 1999 Constitution, it is absolutely exclusively for the Fulani government of Nigeria that they call federal government. Ordinary business name registration is in the hands of the state in the 1963 Constitution. Whereas in the 1999 Constitution, it is an exclusive, on the exclusive list of the Fulani government of Nigeria, otherwise called federal government of Nigeria. There are so many other things to talk about. Do you know that even the operation of the traffic on the federal highway is on the list of the state, or the region rather, in the 1963 Constitution, whereas in 1999 it's exclusively on the list of the Fulani government of Nigeria, otherwise called the federal government of Nigeria. Even, do you know that census is a regional affair? When we say census, people only think about population. You have population census, you have industrial census. So census as a topic is an overarching, policy. Census is under the direction of the regions in the 1963 Constitution, whereas in the 1999 Constitution, it is exclusively for the Fulani government of Nigeria, otherwise called the federal government of Nigeria. So there are so many grounds for to declare constitutional force majeure. Do you know that Ahmadu Bello, when the discussions for independence was going on, Ahmadu Bello wanted Sharia for even the entire country. The colonial master told him, no, you may want to try it in the north, but not for the country. And he now wanted to have Sharia in the north. The middle belt said they were pulling out. So in order to carry them along as part of the northern region, he had to, give out, or he had to, put away that part of it that has to do with Sharia. And that is why in the 1963 Constitution, you don't see anything about Sharia government or whatever. But when they now jettison that constitution with the whatever they did from Decree 14 all the way to Basanjo and Murtala Muhammad 1979 Constitution, and then this fraudulent and illegitimate 1999 Constitution, that was when they went haywire and decided to Sharianize or Islamize the rest of the country called Nigeria. Therefore, it is very, very imperative that we know that there are grounds for constitutional force majeure. And the final point I want to make, which is even a very grievous offense, and I am sure that people watching this video will be very shocked to hear what I want to say now. Do you know that the right to self-determination under the 1999 Constitution is unconstitutional? Let me repeat that. Probably you didn't get what I said. It is unconstitutional for you to clamor for self-determination according to the 1999 Constitution. And I'm going to prove it to you. Now, let me also make it clear from what I gleaned here on the internet. It said, in every country, the Constitution is supreme and above any law. The Constitution is supreme above any law. What does that mean? In every country, you have two sets of laws. You have what is called the Constitution, and then you have laws of the federation or laws of the country. The people, the citizens, they make and approve the Constitution. The elected representatives, like State House of Assembly, House of Representatives, and Senators, they make the laws. And then either the governor for state or the president signs it into law. But where the Constitution and the laws of the country come in collision, where they contradict or where there are some things that are in opposition to each other, the Constitution is superior. The Constitution takes priority. The Constitution wins. The Constitution defeats the law. Why am I trying to make all these explanations? Now, there is a law in Nigeria called Cap A9, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. In Article 20, that law is sectioned in by article. Article 20 of that law says that indigenous people have right to self-determination. There is no doubt about it. But that is the law of the Federation. It is not the Constitution. Now, when you go to the fraudulent and illegitimate 1999 Constitution, in Section 2, subsection 1, it says, in Section 1, subsection 3, I beg your pardon, Section 1, subsection 3 of the Constitution, it says that if there is a clash between that Constitution and any law, when there is a contradiction, when there is a conflict, when there is something that is saying opposite directions in both of them, that the one from the law of the Federation is invalid. It is the one that is in the Constitution that will be the main one that will be valid. That is Section 1, subsection 3 of the Constitution. Now, if you go to Section 2, subsection 1 of Nigerian Constitution, which is a fraudulent one and an illegitimate one, it says that Nigeria shall be indissoluble and indivisible. Let me repeat that, and I'll paraphrase it so that we will understand. In fact, let me even read it the way it is stated in the Constitution. Section 2, subsection 1. Nigeria is one indivisible and indissoluble sovereign state to be known by the name of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nigeria shall be one indivisible and indissoluble sovereign state to be known by the name of Federal Republic. What it means is that there is no part of Nigeria that you can remove from Nigeria. Or you cannot dissolve Nigeria, because there are two ways to do away with Nigeria. Either dissolve it, there is nothing like Nigeria again, or you divide it. So the constitution is saying that you cannot take anything out of Nigeria. It is one. You can't dissolve it. You cannot divide it. So when you take this part, compare it to Article 20, Cap A9, you can see there is a clash. There is a contradiction. There are opposing views. Article 20 is saying that indigenous people have right to self-determination. That is, right to come out and be on their own. That means if Nigeria is like a circle, and indigenous people in a particular part of that circle, that they have right to come out of that circle and be on their own. That is Article 20, Cap A9, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004. Section 2, subsection 1, is saying that nothing like that, that Nigeria remains that full circle. So, that shows that it is unconstitutional for anybody to talk about self-determination, because that means you are going to go against Section 2, subsection 1. So, it all shows that there are extraordinary events that are now in place that calls for the suspension of this book of Lucifer, this pack of lies, this fraudulent and illegitimate document, because it was not put to referendum. Good people of the world, especially our American friends and our European friends, I would like to use this opportunity to inform everyone that in the coming days, a constitutional force majeure will be declared, and 75% of what is now known as Nigeria are already saying that they will not live up to the obligation. What am I talking about? Please, I need you to zoom in on this. This is called the Alliance Territory. You have the Lower Niger area, there is the Middle Belt, and there is also the Yoruba nation, or the Oduduwa. These three, you can see like more of an ash-colored area. These three blocks, they have come together to say they have had enough of that deceit. They have had enough of that fraudulent and illegitimate constitution, because they cannot cohabit with this green path, which is the Sharia region. By the way, this Sharia region, they have two philosophies. One is they say that all men are not equal, are not born equal, and that they have the right to rule. As a matter of fact, one of them, a governor, his name is El-Rufai, he said it's an insult for everybody to say that we are equal in Nigeria. Then number two is that they believe that if they have a duty of faith to kill the infidel. The infidels are those in this alliance territory. If they have it as a duty of faith, is what they owe their God, to kill the rest of the people here. And therefore, and why are they doing that? They're doing that because they are empowered by this document, this constitution. And so we cannot continue to live a life of fear or death or a life of total domination and whatever because of this document. And therefore, the alliance territory, made up of the three blocks of the Middle Belt, the Southwest, which is the Oduduwa, and the Lower Niger area, they are in unison, and they are going to declare a constitutional force majeure in the coming days. Therefore, we are calling for the support of the international community, the Americans, the Europeans, the Asians, wherever they are. Everybody should rally around and support this upcoming constitutional force majeure, which is coming up in a couple of days' time. Thank you very much for listening, and God bless you all. Bye-bye for now.